Great morning, everyone. How are you all doing? This is your girl, Shanna. Happy Thursday. We have one more day until Friday. Ain't God good? That is so awesome. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and speak on today. Walk in your truth so you can love and truly be loved. Walk in your truth. One thing that we do not do is walk in our truth. And I'm going to be honest, I did not know what walking in my truth was until probably about maybe 5 years ago. And the reason why is because I would always walk and be what everybody else wanted me to be and just speak like everyone else wanted me to speak. And, you know, it's funny, when I first started, good morning, Cousin Kim, when I first started doing these videos, you know, people used to say, oh, you speak too aggressively. Oh, you know, you should talk like this. Maybe you should do this. But, you know, God kept reminding me that I had to walk in my own truth. Now, if you've noticed with the videos lately, I've been speaking on how we need to dig deep, how we need to get to the root of things, because when it comes to relationships, one thing that I've seen, and it really hurt me so much. Good morning, Brandy. One of the things that I've seen, and it really hurts me so much, is that people get angered easily, and the one who tends to take the blunt of the anger that the person is suffering from or enduring or whatever the case may be is their spouse. That's the one who tends to do that. And so it's kind of it's really ironic that the one who loves us the most is the one that we tend to spew our anger towards, or whatever that we're dealing with that we truly do not want to deal with. I was talking to my grandma probably about like 2 days ago. And I asked my grandma a question, and it was in reference to, and I'm going to go there and then I'm going to come back here. It was in reference to how it is. We were talking about family secrets, and we were talking about people speaking their truth and walking out their truth and different things like that. And so in saying that, with the speaking truth and the walking out the truth, I said, Grandma, why is it that people get so upset when an individual get to the point to where they realize who they are, who God created them to be, and they walk out their truth? And she was saying that it's because people are too afraid of what may come out about them. And so some of us have been taught in culture, good morning, Delia, in our culture, that you are not to speak on certain things. Just leave it alone. Just don't say anything, because you want to try to please everybody else and you don't want to bring shame to anyone else. And so in saying that, we carry that over into our marriage. We carry that over into our relationship, to where the things that we really feel, the things that we really want to say, we keep it bottled up. And we don't say anything. And the time that it comes out in the anger and the frustration is 9 times out of 10 when we're arguing with our spouse, instead of speaking on it in a calm level and in a calm way. I encourage you, if you are single, please, please, please. What I've noticed singles do is, when you find someone that you think that person is the person that you're supposed to be with, you will open up and invest so much of your information into that individual. You tell them your deepest, darkest secrets. In some cases, now, some people be overdoing it, but in some cases, you tell your deepest, darkest secret. And then when you and that person is no longer together, or as the old folks say, you done busted up, then you get mad because you don't know what that individual is going to do with the secrets in which you hold. However, when we get in marriage, we don't tend to open up and talk to our spouse. We try to go along because I want to have this fairy tale marriage like they put out there. I want this fairy tale marriage, so I'm gonna act like nothing is wrong and nothing's bothering me. And the time that it comes out is when the top get ready to explode, when you're in the midst of an argument. If your spouse is your best friend, they should know what you're feeling, what you're going through, and what you have gone through in your life. Because when you feel that you are protecting and guarding your spouse from the deepest things that you deal with, you're robbing yourself and your spouse of probably the best marriage that you could have, the best marriage that God wants you to have, because you're not walking around in your truth. Remember, I was telling y'all about long hair and how my husband like for me to have long hair and whatever the case may be. And I ain't gonna be telling y'all what else my husband like. Somebody that's a whole different video. But anyway, and how I like short hair. So for years I used to do whatever my husband wanted me to do and this, that, and other, but I wasn't walking in my truth. It's okay for me to please my husband, but I'm not walking in my truth. So how are you limiting yourself as an individual? What are you doing to not walk in your truth? What we tend to do is, yes, we are supposed to cast our cares upon the Lord, as the scriptures say, for he cares for us. But what we tend to do is just throw dirt on the problem, and you throw dirt on the problem. And when that problem starts to break up through the ground and resurface, we just continue to throw dirt on it and try to bury it like it don't exist. I encourage each and every one of us, whether you be single or married, deal with the issues that you have, because it is so unfair for you to be married and everything get thrown on your spouse, or your spouse been married to you for years and then you just said something out of anger and they looking at you like, I've been married to you for 10, 15, 20 years. Why couldn't you ever tell me this or whatever? So quit being, if you're in your single stage, quit being, good morning, Natasha, so quick to give out all your information to everybody you meet because you think that's the one. No, go ahead and, as the old folks say, court. That's what it is. Go ahead and court them. Go ahead and date them. You can let them know some things about you so they can get to know you, but you don't have to let them know everything as if they're your spouse. And if you're married, start opening up to your husband. Start opening up to your wife. Some of the things that I see that people do is they bury the things that they go through. They bury it in alcohol. They bury it in medication, the different mental health medications that they take. They bury it in drug usage. They bury it in sex. You know, it's all kind of different things that I've seen people do. Instead of, they're numbing themselves, but they're not dealing with the issue. So how can we expect to have a healthy marriage? How can we expect to have a healthy family, have a healthy relationship? Because this is what you got to understand. And we say this all the time when it comes to our kids. Parents do not see it until their kids get grown and they see the things start to manifest in their children. They see the way that they've acted, the way that they hold their feelings in, the way that they don't talk about things, the way that they blow up and they become a hothead, and you don't see it until it manifests in your child. You have to understand, it is better for us to free ourselves, because when we hold on to things that we need to make amends with, when we need to come to peace with our past, when we hold on to those things, we're not doing anything but destroying us. We're walking around. Imagine yourself, the things that you are not willing to face and address. And you know, the ball and chain type situation they used to have back in the day when people were in jail. Every problem that you have, for each problem, think about that as being one ball and chain that's connected to you. You're walking and you're moving forward, but you're moving slow. But once you release that problem, you make peace with your past, you release it. Because this is what we do. We sit up and say, I'm fine. We're just sitting up lying. Even in our marriage, when our spouse asks us, baby, what's wrong with you? They know that you have changed. We'll sit up and say, I'm fine. Oh, I'm good. Why do we feel the need to lie in our marriage? And some people say we lie to protect our spouse, or we shield them from things about us to protect them. No, you're not doing anything but further hurting them. I'm going to use this example right here, because y'all know I love to give examples. I don't know who I was speaking to, but whoever it was, they were from the country as well. And we were talking about how back in the day, okay, I remember who it was. We were talking about how back in the day, say you had your mom and your dad, right? Say they were married. Now, let's just say, for an example, the dad cheated, okay? Say he have a whole family. They live across the way. The mama knows about it. She's aware of it, but a whole family that live across the way, he done had children with some other woman. And then the next door neighbors, here's another lady that moved in. She got 3 or 4 kids, and that's your daddy's kids too. But guess what? You never know about it. And this is what we were talking about with family secrets. You never know about it. The women, the grown women know about it. You would never know any difference, because the way that you were raised, you never heard your parents really argue, whatever the case may be. But your dad got a whole set of kids across town and a whole set of kids next door. And then say it's good, you playing with the kids and whatever the case may be, and say you get a little bit older, you get into high school and you start liking your next door neighbor, because guess what, y'all been friends ever since y'all was little. And then the adults are going off. The mama next door is going off, and your mama going off, and they go, no, you are not to date him, and I forbid. And you know what happened when you forbid kids to do stuff, they're gonna do it anyway. Instead of just, okay, let me not get ahead of myself, so they getting angry at you and attacking you, and you don't even know why. You know what I'm saying? Because of some of their issues that are buried in the dirt, and they don't want to say anything because they don't want to bring shame to the man, or they don't want to bring shame to these other women that have slept with this married man. You see what I'm saying? And had these kids out of wedlock, like they used to say. And so you sit up here wondering why everybody tripping on you, why everybody mad, why y'all acting crazy or whatever. And then you find out probably in your latter 20s or in your 30s, the reason why they was tripping, you find out from somebody else, not your parents. But the reason why they was tripping is because this child next door and them whole set of children that's across the way is your siblings. That's your brother and your sister. And then you feeling some kind of way, and you messed up because you was kissing your brother or your sister and you didn't even know that's who that was. That's what me and my grandma was talking about. When you have issues like that, somebody needs to be adult enough to say, look, you are old enough to know that the reason why we said for you not to be trying to look at that person in this way is because that's your sibling, baby. That's your brother. That's your sister. Your daddy, slept with this person, whatever. I'm not going to put your daddy down, or I'm not going to put your mama down, because it can happen either way or whatever. But that's why we said that. And see, when we do not unearth things that could affect, because we think as long as we keep it in, it's just going to affect us. And that's not the truth. We have to understand the things in which we wrestle with that we are not able to make peace with not only affects us, but it affects others. It affects our brothers and our sisters around us. It affects our spouses. It affects our children. But we think that it's okay to just keep it quiet, and people be trying to go to their grave with secrets and all this other stuff. That's why I'm woman enough, let me know. Or I'm man enough, let me know. Or whatever. But what we have to understand, if you get nothing out of this whole entire video today, is you have to walk in your own truth. You cannot walk around keeping things buried and thinking that you're successful in life. Oh, my man. No, your marriage got unnecessary balls and chains attached to it because you are not being friend enough to open up to your spouse. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know if anybody understand what I'm saying on today. But just like family secrets can destroy when the secrets are manifested after all these years, get to the point where you walk in your truth. Be free for you. Make peace with your past, no matter who else it may harm. It's your truth. It is your peace that you have to deal with. You cannot continue to live for everybody else. Just like when I see people when they're in abusive situations. I was speaking to this young lady on this weekend, and for 15 years, she was in an abusive situation in her marriage. And so when she started making peace with her past, and she was becoming free of the things that used to bound her, she felt like she could move forward. She was in a very depressive state and stuff like that, to where she had to go and be admitted to the hospital because she did not make peace with her past. You know what she told me? She told me and was sharing with me, and this is just a general conversation, I'm not telling anybody's business, but once she started making peace with her past, because her not making peace with her past was killing her, she had people that was telling her she need to just get somewhere and be quiet and sit down. That's the wrong answer. What we should do as individuals is be willing to help someone else, if that's what God placed on our hearts, to make peace with their past. But because we don't want nobody to look bad, and that's how the world thinks and how society thinks, and everybody got to be perfect, we'll set up and tell somebody, okay, you just need to be quiet and go sit over in the corner. And that's why we have so many lies in our marriage and so many secrets in our marriage, and why we feel like we can't open up. Ladies, let me go ahead and ask y'all this real quick before I get ready to go. Have you ever just desired for your husband, and you ain't even got the answer on her, have you ever just desired for your husband to just open up? You can feel, and I don't know how many of y'all relate like this, and maybe it's just me because having the spirit of discernment. But I can feel when something's not right with my husband. I can even feel when my husband's in pain, and I don't even have to look at him. He can tell when something is not right with me. You have that connection because the two become one. You can tell when something's not right. And you ask your spouse, baby, what's wrong? Because you could feel something is nagging them. And they'll sit up and say nothing. They'll say nothing. Oh, I'm doing good. Oh, baby, I'm fine. And you can tell that they lying. And it's irritating you because they will not open up and tell you the truth. And then you start feeling some kind of way. Husbands, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. Let me go ahead and talk to you fellas. Let me talk to you, sir. If you love your wife the way that you say that you do, you need to open up and you need to speak with your wife. Just because you may have not been able to open up in your childhood and have someone to speak to, when you are in a marriage, husbands and wives, and your spouse is generally concerned, if you can't open up to anybody else, you should be able to open up to your spouse. You should be able to share your heart with them, is what our old bishop used to say. Share your heart with them. Tell them what you feel. Allow them to comfort you. But because of the stereotype that is placed on men, because they shouldn't be in their feelings, and, oh, you got to be a man. Now, don't nobody want a man that's crying all the time and you soft. I'm just saying, I know, that's just me. But you do want your husband to be able to share his heart with you, because this is the most terrible thing when people step outside of their marriage and they can share their hearts to someone else outside of their marriage, but you can't even share your heart to the man who has given you children, or to the woman who has birthed your children that you've been married to for years. That's a slap in the face. So instead of us running and open up our mouth, and some may say, well, I'm married to a woman I can't even talk to. Every time I try to talk, she there for everybody else and their feelings, but she ain't there for me. Then wife, I'm gonna need you to adjust, honey. I'm gonna need you to adjust, okay? Ask your husband, baby, what is it about me where you feel you can't open up to me? What is it? All right? I know I'm knocking on somebody's front door today, front door, back door, the windows and everything. But we need to start walking in our truth. It is too many people walking around faking the funk, and you're living a lie. Okay? No, in order for us to live the life and have the marriage that God desires for us to have, we need to start walking in our truth, and we need to start speaking our truth to our spouses. All right? And spouses, if your husband or your wife sit down with you and they speaking deep, dark things to you, number one, don't have it all over the internet. Don't have it in the city newspaper and everything like that. You start praying for your spouse. You start interceding for your spouse. You be there and support your spouse, and you listen to them. That's the problem why a lot of people feel that they can't open up and walk in their truth, especially in their marriage, because their spouse won't listen to them. Okay, I can go on forever, but I'm going to cut it off right now. And I'm going to tell you, like I do every day, share this because somebody needs to hear this. Somebody is bound in their marriage right now, and they feel like they cannot talk to their spouse. They feel like they cannot walk in their truth and who God created them to be, because their spouse belittles them, shuts them up, put them down, or care for everybody else except them. Okay, so share this because it's free. Be a blessing today to somebody and not a curse. Okay, I need y'all to walk around in the boldness of God. Know that you are a child of God. Know that you are the head and not the tail. Continue to pray for not only your marriage but other marriages. Lift up your spouse so the two can stay one. Okay, and your girl Shannon be back with y'all on tomorrow. Don't let anybody steal your joy. God bless.